guys, how you doing today? I have a really exciting project for you guys today. This one is called the Popsicle Stick Apple Core. This one in particular does not have the string that I am going to be attaching today because I do want you to be able to hang this beautiful piece of work up anywhere around your house or your backyard. For this project, you're going to need 4 popsicle sticks. You're going to need green, brown, and red construction paper for your apple, your stem, and your little leaf. You're also going to need some protection paper. So mine is just regular watercolor paper that I can put under here, but anything that you can find, newspaper, printer paper, whatever is easy access for you, just to kind of shield your table from the glue that we do need that we will be using today. So you want to have your glue. I like to have a little paintbrush just so that it's a little easier to put glue for little smaller parts. And yeah, I think that's about it. So let's grab all those materials and we'll head right back here for the first step. Okay guys, welcome back. So one more thing that we also need as well is just any kind of dark beads you can find. I have these really nice wooden brown beads that are just perfect. I want you to get at least 3, and these will just go in your core to look like little apple seeds. So we can set that to the side for now. The first thing we want to do is we actually need to glue our popsicle sticks together. So you want to make sure first that they actually line up. So mine look good there. So I'm gonna grab some glue and my paintbrush. I'm just gonna start lightly putting glue on the sides. Now the sides of this toothpick are very thin, so you do need to take your time and be careful. You don't want to add too much glue, but just enough that it will stick together and hold. So that is my first popsicle stick. The reason we have this paper is to make sure our popsicle sticks don't stick to our table, but in the process of this drying, you actually need to move it around a few times, because if you don't, it'll just kind of get stuck to one part of your paper. So you're gonna do a little bit of pushing and shoving for this one. Same thing here, you wanna add your glue. Because we've already put one on there, we need to slightly kind of lift it up, but you need to be very careful not to pick it up off of your paper, because it will just come apart because the glue is not dry yet. But we do need to be meticulous and glue each side of our popsicle stick so that we can keep adding to it. Okay, I also like to sometimes glue on top just because I feel like it helps to bond them together a little easier. Same thing, every time I lift up a piece to glue the side, it's always the piece that I just kind of put on. And I just want to like put this all around here. Really all together, we're putting glue on about 3 popsicle sticks because we just want to put them on the sides there. So you can put your paintbrush to the side. I'm going to stick this together. And we just want to do 2 things. Let this dry, but you know, every kind of 40 seconds, I would say, just move it across your page, just so it doesn't get stuck and get too comfortable in one spot of our paper. But we're just gonna do that until it's completely dry. We're gonna do that and we're gonna head right back here for the next step. All right? Okay guys, welcome back. So the next step, because this should be all dry and super able to be picked up, we wanna grab our paintbrush. I just wanna grab some paper towel. Always nice and handy to have paper towel and water, especially if you're using your brushes with glue or paint, whatever it is, just to dab it out. But we want to add our little seeds on top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pick like kind of like 3 random spots on my wood here. I don't want to have them in a line. I don't want them to be straight. This is an apple core, right? So it should be random, and the placement is really not anything uniform. So I got 1, I got 2. I think the most common and the most aesthetically pleasing position is having 2 kind of around the same level and 1 kind of around the top. Just looks pretty cool. And I'm putting like a generous amount of glue because I do want my beads to be able to just stick and stay. If you have enough glue, you should be able to just drop them on there and reposition with your finger if needed. But don't put them all in the same direction, right? You can put a couple vertically, horizontally, whatever is good for you. We want to let that dry, but while we're doing that, we can move on to our apple itself. So let's grab our red construction paper. I'm gonna need my pencil, which I forgot to let you guys know that you need, so grab that. And we wanna make the top part and the bottom part of our apple. So what I like to do is just grab, be very careful because this is still drying, but I like to just grab my popsicle sticks and just do like a light trace around just so I know what size I'm dealing with, so that when I'm making my apple top and bottom, I'm not making them too big or too little. So I'm gonna start with the top. It's gonna be 1 bump, down, 2, kind of like that. And you want to do some bite marks. Bite marks are just camel humps. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's make that 4. And now that we have this shape of the size of the popsicle sticks, I don't necessarily have to make my bottom one here. I can make it kind of right underneath here. But anything as close as possible to the apple. So I'm gonna make 1 point over here and 1 over here. And that's showing me it's the same size as the top. I'm going to go down to the bottom, make a hump, and come back up. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did to make these bite marks. Just some camel humps. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so once we have that, we wanna grab our scissors. And because of the way that we drew it out, we can cut this apple out as 1. So I'm gonna cut along my pencil. I'm just gonna keep cutting along the paper. So this looks like 1 full apple with some bite marks. And we're just cutting that whole thing out. I would say when you cut along the edges and things are close together in proximity when you're cutting, just kind of makes it a little easier and just a little more organized. It kind of keeps everything all together. So I've cut my apple shape. Looks pretty funny. But what I want to do now is cut through these humps. And when I'm doing that, I need to move my piece of paper around. So if it's kind of hard for you to imagine cutting these out, think about cutting this. So this is a thing I like to notice is this is kind of like positive and negative space. So when I do end up cutting this middle part out of my paper, I'll see that I'm left with this shape and this is a whole new other shape on the inside. So if it's hard for you to think about actually cutting out bite holes, you can think about cutting out the shape, the new shape that you've made in the middle. Just kind of a new way to think about shapes and how they appear and disappear and work together, and how maybe making one kind of shape makes another kind of shape by accident. It's really cool how those things can happen. So what I have here now is the bottom part of my apple and the top part of my apple. And what I want to do is I want to make sure I'm not using the sides where I use a lot of pencil, like we've talked about in other videos, but we want to grab some glue. And I'm not gonna put my glue right on the paper, I'm gonna put it on my popsicle sticks, because this is where the glue is gonna go. I don't want a bunch of glue all on my corners if they're not even touching my popsicle sticks, right? So I'm putting enough there to cover the top and the bottom. Okay, put your paintbrush aside, and once again flip over your paper so that you can't see any of the pencil marks you were making, and you want to put that on there just like that. So you will have some hanging off the bottom, but a majority of it should be glued to the top here. Same thing with the top part of our apple. I'm putting that on here with my glue, using my fingers to press it out. and we should have something like this. So we're gonna let this dry and we're gonna come back for the next step. So welcome back, you guys. We're gonna be working on the very last step of our apple here. We're gonna make our stem and our leaf. So our stem is really just a little curvy rectangle. That's the shape you want, okay? And our leaf, think of it as an eyeball shape. So our leaf has one hump on one side and another hump on the other, okay? We're gonna use our scissors to cut both these shapes out. And every time we cut shapes out, we cut as close as possible to the pencil, okay? That's one. Let's cut out our stem. And remember, you have all this extra paper. You know, we may not have used all this brown or green paper for any other part of our apple, but you can totally use this for other projects. You know, don't throw it out. There's so many other uses you can have for that. Now I want to take my apple that has been drying so perfectly, and we're gonna take our stem. So the first thing I'm gonna do is flip this over so I don't see any pencil marks from my outlines. Get a little bit of glue, and that's gonna go towards the bottom. Okay, and this has to go with the top part. So I'm gonna put this, the glue part is gonna be glued onto our popsicle sticks here. So let's put that right, you know what? I think I glued the wrong side. That's okay. Let's glue the right side, okay? Because the part that you glue is also gonna be, the top part of that is going to be poking out of your apple. So totally okay if you made a mistake like I did, no worries. But that's gonna go right here. That is our stem. So if you can guess, the same thing is gonna be happening for our leaf. So make sure it's on the right side, glue a little bit on the bottom here, just like that. And that is actually just going right beside that stem, okay? So you should have something like this. You can reposition it if you want to see like more of your shapes that you made. But once you have that, the very last step is to grab some string, if you have some. And this is if you want to decorate. If you just want to have this as a work of art, just on your desk or something, you can totally do that. But if you're like me and you like to see your work in action and all over your house and places that make you happy, I want you to grab your string. You're gonna turn over your apple. You're gonna add some glue right below where we've glued our stem and our leaf. Okay, we're gonna take one side of the string. That's gonna go right here. We're gonna put some more glue on top of that and in the same spot that we already put glue for the first time. So that's one. Get this one over. We're pretty much just making a loop, and that will go right on top. And just to make sure it's completely sealed, you can add some more glue on top of that. But pretty much once that dries, you can hang this anywhere. Backyard, wherever you want. So guys, I had so much fun making this with you today. Thank you for joining me. Eat your fruits and vegetables because they're super yummy. And, you know, make some. You can also, you know, make your own apple core out of clay. You know, anything you can draw, anything you can paint, you can make out of clay. Anything that interests you. So, you know, try and make, you know, make one of these pets. Make him have some snacks. Maybe he's eating apples too. You know, whatever you want to do. Or, you know, look at our wannabe Wanda kids. How about your pug that's over here on his couch? Maybe he's enjoying a nice apple, right? So once again, thank you so much for joining me. I had such a good time. I will see you next week. Sending lots of love and hugs. Have a great one, you guys.